Welcome, welcome, welcome to a Director's Garage Live Hump Day Happy Hour edition. I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, and wow, I got it's a little lively in here. I'm wearing some open back headphones. These are the Focal Utopias that I'm selling right now in the Director's Garage sale. It's not, I don't think it's down below on this video yet, but it's on the previous posted video from Tuesday morning. Yeah, Focal Utopia. One of the headphones I'm possibly, and I say this with all due respect, possibly selling. I don't know for sure what I'm getting rid of and what I'm keeping. I've got some stuff listed, and then I think I'm going to alter what I'm selling based on what actually gets offers. So if you're interested, now would be the time to get some Director's Garage gear and know where you're getting your stuff from, and you know it's going to be in pretty good shape and honest, and you know, an honest representation of what's there. Because I'm going to start listing this stuff on Headfi as soon as I have time to take some photos and put them up. But I want to give you guys a chance to buy stuff first if you want. So there you go. That's what's happening at the moment. Cheers, everybody. It is Hump Day. We're heading into happy hour right now. I'm a little bit early for the West Coasters. I know that, but the truth of the matter is I'm going to go wash the car when I'm done with this. And we're running out of daylight now on the back end of this show. Like if I finish at 5 o'clock, I got about an hour and then, you know, it's dark. So, pardon me. And I'm not even in like a fancy t-shirt. I'm in work clothes because I was working. I still am working actually right now, waiting for stuff to come through for my day job, which is writing scripts. At the moment. Today is a script writing day. So waiting for those to come in, and then I can get stuff on its way and get pieces out onto the airwaves, as it were. So yeah, so we reviewed, or opened, I should say, not reviewed, this headphone on Tuesday. This is the Meze 109. Very nice. Wait, I can even do it. No, I really can't. My desk is a mess. Well, I don't care. What do I care? I'll show my messy desk because I got headphones everywhere. Let's see. How do we do that? We just go here, and then we'll go to this camera, and then bam. So here's, you can see there's my mouse and everything. But here's the 109, and we showed these off on Tuesday's show. I opened these. This is a blind what's in the box from Audio 46, and they sent this, and you know, there are good things and there are meh things about this one, and things that are good are really good. Things that are good are great, in fact. The things that are less than, I'm like, still, the jury's still out in a couple of places on this. Not sure about the build. When you put a metal sprung headband on something, you're always going to get resonance unless you dampen them, and these are not dampened except for these little Y clips here, pieces that provide structure. So, you know, there are things that are, and then it's a suspended headband. Check that out. And I showed this on the thing, but it's noisy. And so there are some elements that I'm like, not sure that's the best thing I've ever seen. But, you know, it's a good headphone. It is $800, so not the cheapest headphone we've ever reviewed on this show, that's for sure. I will say they are super comfortable. In fact, let's plug them in real quick. I'll do away with the Utopia and my shameless plug trying to sell those off. Can you flame me? No. Yeah, these sound great. I mean, well, now the music stopped. We're in between tracks. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, these are really nice. I mean, the sound is great. There's no denying that. Just not sure where it falls in. There's some sub-bass things that are a little quirky, that are actually interesting, and I really like the sound off of them. It's just there's some things that are different about this headphone from other headphones. That's a good thing. It means they're distinct. So that's a good thing. So I've got those for sale. I've got the not the 109s, the Focal Utopias are for sale. The Susvara is for sale. The LCD-5 is for sale. The Carbon is for sale. I mean, I've just listed a whole bunch of stuff, and I may not, like I said, I may not sell, you know, but a couple of the headphones that are listed, and then I'll keep the rest. So I had somebody like, oh, I see you're getting rid of your Susvara and getting off the Susvara. Well, not necessarily. If I sell the Utopia and I sell the Carbon, I'll probably keep the Susvara and play with an amp on it, and then get rid of it or something. I don't know, but who knows? You know, or if I get an amp that makes these things sound like they should, hopefully, then maybe I keep them around for the next Mega Shootout. I don't know. I'm just going to go through, and I always say this too. If I get done with it and I'm like, oh boy, I wish I had that. I'd like to do that test now with the new amp and whatever. I just buy them again. You know, what's the big deal? They're not going to. I'm not going to be able to buy them for. You know, I'm not going to pay more for them. Oh, well, unless you're an Abyss. I'm not going to pay more for it than it was when I bought it before. So, you know, no big deal. As long as I get a reasonable price on resale, and I think they're listed at 42, which is the going rate for those. I think I paid 44 for them new, so $200 for a year of ownership. There are worse things I could have. There are worse deals I could make on this show. But Ryan, yeah, oh wow, the LCD-5 and Susvara are gone. No, neither are gone. Both are still here, but I'm selling them. They're for sale. And then if I sell the LCD-5 or if I sell the Susvara, that may impact my other sales. I may decide to keep some of the other stuff. I'm just going to see what goes and what people are. Pardon me. It's this, you know, this lingering COVID is misery. It just depends on what sells, and I'm letting the market kind of dictate what I'm going to do next. So I would ideally like to keep the Focal Utopia for a direct comparison with the Focal Utopia 2022. That would be the ideal. If I could do that, then I would be able to, you know, have that episode. That would be a great episode. But if I sell the Utopia 22, if somebody wants to buy the 2019 Utopia, then I won't do that. I'll just do you know, at some point whenever I get the 2022 in here, you know, I'll just do a straight review on it, because I mean, I pretty much remember I've had the Utopia since the show started. I mean, I know that headphone better than I know any of the of them. So yeah. There you go. So I'm just going to kind of let whatever people want and bid on determine what it is we keep. So that's that. And that's really what I got today. I don't have a ton to talk about today other than that kind of stuff. I put the new episode out, and I just started kind of listening to these, but I already shot the next episode for next week. I'm trying to get a little ahead. I got a trip to San Diego coming up this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to cut over the weekend, which is something I normally get to do. So I'm going to be, so I needed to get a kind of a head start on next week's episode. So I shot it yesterday, started laying it out, and then I got super tired last night and quit about halfway through. But then hopefully that episode will drop early next week. I really want to try and stick to a Tuesday drop date. My episodes do better when I drop on Tuesday. You guys seem to watch them more, and watching more from this show is a good thing, because, you know, hey, let's get the other candles. Let's see the candles. I'm really digging the candle background. It's a silly thing. Let's go to the chat and see what everybody's talking about today. We're 10 minutes into this live stream, and again, I'm going to wash the car when I'm done. Oh my goodness. I've got PAs. Tomorrow I'm interviewing Duran for my day job. So I've got them at the Hollywood. I think it's at the Hollywood Highland Theater, the Kodak. It used to be the Kodak. It's now the Dolby. I'm going to be interviewing them tomorrow, which is good. That'll be a thrill. I've interviewed them a couple times before. They played our Emmy party. ET every year used to throw, Entertainment Tonight used to throw an Emmy party every year, and and they always got a big band. We had Prince one year. I'm not kidding. We had Prince, and that was a story. I got stories about Prince. I mean, like, just amazing. But we had Duran Duran one year, and so I got to know the guys and Simon and all those guys, and I've interviewed them a couple of times before and since, and I'm getting them again tomorrow. There's a new documentary coming out. I think it's on Netflix. But they have a new documentary coming out about the band, so kind of cool. That's good. Hi-Fi Boog says, "Sup, brothers? Sup? Leon checking in says, "Leon, cheers, buddy. I haven't seen you here before. Welcome to our madness." It's a little hangout we do every week. I try to do like an hour to 2 hours live, and that's to supplement because I can't always get shows out every week. I wanted to find a way to connect with you guys who watch the show in a less formal setting without the graphics and the music and all the stuff that I get grilled about. People hate the music. I'm like, I don't care. It's my music. That's what I do. Too much fun. But hey, Michael, great shootout and very informative. I just bought a pair of OG LCD-4s based on the videos for $19.50. That's about $2,200, which is a good price. Yes, and it should be coming tomorrow. Very excited. Well, I hope you enjoy them. If you enjoy them half as much as I enjoyed them, you're going to be in really good shape. They are rising fast on my list of like favorite headphones. They ranked third in the shootout. And I said last week on the live show, I can make a case that should have won the shootout, based on how good they sound, how close they are in bass, and in some ways better than the Abyss that won it. How fast they are. They're lightning quick, nearly as fast as the Susvara, and they're just $2,000. A little over $2,000, at most. I mean, absolute steal, bargain of the century headphone to me. So are the HE1000s, which are now like you can get them for $1,600. Another great one. Fantastic headphones. Like these OG headphones, you don't need the latest and greatest to get the experience. Like you just don't. I will say that the Abyss update to TC over the original OG, which is what I had. I never had the carbon version, or the ceramic version, but I did have that first one, and the jump between the first Abyss 1266 and the TC is significant. There were real problems with that first Abyss. They had some great attributes, but there were real problems with it, and they really addressed that with the TC, and that's why I won the shootout. Nephilim81, welcome, buddy. I missed you guys. I missed you last week. I saw you post about why you missed it. You went to an audio show. See, I kind of keep up on this stuff. I'm not great, but I get some of it. I get about half of it. Sell the Utopias and get the D8000. Well, the D8000 is on my short list. You guys know this. Not the Pro. I want the D8000. I'm not interested in the Pro. It's it's a professional neutral tuning or whatever. No. Give me the fun stuff. I want the fun stuff. I want the stuff that makes me go wow. I don't need something that makes me go, oh, that's really accurate. That's just me. So yeah, I do. The D8000 is on the short list. It will be here in the next year. We know that. We know that. I trust I won't regret it. Everybody raves about the headphones. So it's just a matter of money and timing. Will I find a pair that's on the market for a reasonable price? And will I have the money to buy them at that point in time? And right now the answer is I don't have the money to buy them because I got all the money tied up in all these other headphones. So I've got to sell some stuff. Got to get you guys to try out some of these headphones that I'm done using for the purposes of the show. Chief of which is this Focal Utopia, which is, it came in low on the shootout, but it's still a remarkable headphone. I mean, It's a great headphone. I was just listening to it today, and I pulled it out. I'm like, these are world class. These, so they're not, in my opinion, they're not as good as, say, the Susvara, or they're not as good. So what? That doesn't make them a bad headphone. It just means they're not, in my opinion, as good as. Well, how many as good as do you need it? That was kind of a word salad. Okay, Nephilim says, also, Michael, thank you so much for the awesome headphone shootout. I certainly identify with some of your feelings. Cheers, man. I know it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun, too. Well, the worst thing, it's not the worst. There are worse fates than these. What was that? What was that from? I think that was from a Stephen King novel. There are other worlds than these. I think that's The Dark Tower. Yeah. So there you go. Hi-Fi Book says he's not tubed up today. Just got the Geshelly Labs Airs2 for his wife, my friends. Hi-Fi Book got that amp for his wife. And now he's going to run a long cable from his wife's office to his cable office so he can listen to them. And Ryan, yeah, the LCD-5, I had to mention that. Nothing's a done deal at this point. I would like to keep the LCD-5 because I really like listening to jazz on the LCD-5. It's my favorite, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, jazz headphone. It's the neutrality, all of that stuff just works to the nth degree. Let's see. I have to... okay. I gotta watch something real quick. I'll get to it in a second, but I may have to pause and take a breather to handle something from work, because I am still doing active work. Let me just send a reply real quick. There we go. Sent and sent. Okay, so let's see. So yes, yay, early today. How's everyone? Yeah, I explained Adnan. Cheers, Adnan, by the way. I cheers everybody who comes on this show, man. I just love it. Thank you guys for showing up every week. I mean, it really means a lot. It's worth doing because you guys just show up and we get to hang out. Yeah, I'm early today because I'm going to wash the car before dark. So I want to get on it. I wanted to get on the air, off the air, so that I have time left in the day to go wash the car. Which I'm not supposed to do in LA, but I don't really care. I want to wash the car. Car's dirty, going to wash it. Welcome. Doing well, man. Glad to be here too. Good to see we all meet as friends here. Okay, they did that. Okay. Fellas, just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I just got to send a quick email. This is for work. This is all work related. Nine 5752. We yeah, sent that. Let's go to here. 95752. These are track numbers. It's kind of we have to voice over our pieces. So tracks come in from our hosts, and I have to get them distributed to the right place. There we go. Okay, back to business. Okay, Leon says, don't you just love it when you have an LCD4 coming in and your hearing is messed up because of a cold? Oh, that's brutal, man. I'm sorry about that. You gotta get the Dayquil out. Michael, will you sell the Susvara? Yeah, I'd sell the Susvara if the right if somebody came in and wanted to buy it. I've got them listed for 42, which is like everything I've seen, I mean, I've got the original box, I've got the original cable, you know, the fancy leather bound with the box and all that, and that's a pretty good price for that. You know, I don't see them going much lower unless another Susvara comes out. It's $6,000 headphone new. And these are in great shape. You've seen plenty of B-roll of them. So I think I've got them for a fair price. And if somebody wants to step up and check out the Susvara, I'm willing to let those go, because I'm willing to bet that should I want to go deeper into the Susvara later and play with a Bakun 13R amp, and play with some of these other amplifiers and find that extra level that I feel is missing from the Susvara, I can just buy another Susvara. I seriously, I'll just go out and buy another pair. I'm not married to anything, and so that's, if I let the Susvara go, that's $4,000 that can get me into, say, an Expanse or the D8000 or the the Final, or the Utopia 2022. And I'm kind of like, you know, I have things that I'm leaning towards, but it's going to also come down to what's available, what I can get a deal on, how I can get out of a deal if I don't like it, those kinds of things. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. It comes down to a bunch of those things. You know, what is it going to take? And so asking me for approval. Okay. Let me just give him a thumbs up. We'll revisit that in an hour. So it's going to come down to, sorry guys, it's really hard when I've got work still brewing and I've got stuff on the fire. So apologies. I'm going to apologize to you guys for being a little distracted, because this screen is all business right now. It's like I've got scripts coming in, but I wanted to get on the air today and I wanted to give you guys a live show. It's going to come down to what sells in what order. If the Focal sells, I'll keep the Susvara, and I'll try and get the Bakun 13R in, because there's a couple of those amps used out there right now for about $4,200. But my common sense tells me that you guys, and you can let me know in the comments below, you guys would let me know if, you would rather see an extra amp on the Susvara, or would you rather see me get something like the Expanse or the D8000 in here? Or the X9000 from Stax. Although I don't really have a hookup for Stax to get them. Somebody's got to let one go on the used market, because I can't buy that new. I'm not going to pay $6,000 for, was it $6,500 for the new X9000? No, thank you. No, thank you. JTB would proud. Yeah, JTB's been talking to me about getting out of the Susvara for a while. We've been, going back and forth on it, and I don't have any problem with that. I'm not married to stuff. This stuff, all of these headphones are just stuff. And you can always replace stuff. You can always buy stuff again. You can always sell stuff. Stuff is not a problem. There's things out there that matter, and headphones aren't one of them in the end, at the end of the day, So if I have to say goodbye to one, I say goodbye to it. It's fine. I'm selling. Now, the thing that I won't sell, like, I'm not going to sell my custom K10S that John Moulton handmade for me. That's a headphone that has a sentimental value and sits right here on my desk. Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of that. That's a headphone that will stay. But the Sultan, which is the best headphone I've ever heard for an IEM, they're amazing headphones, and that's a $3,500 headphone new, and I'm selling it for like $1,700, $1,800, whatever it is. I'm not as great as I love that headphone, and I've traveled with it around the world. It's been to Africa with me and all this stuff, and it's a custom. It's got the purple pine cone and all that stuff. I think they're beautiful. I want to hear the Viking more than I want to keep those, so I'm willing to let those go so that I can put some money towards it and get a Viking. Ragnar, the new top of the line Noble, because I'm super. When John told me that it's the best IEM he's ever heard, well, okay, you know, I'm going to take his word for it, and I'm going to want to hear it. So that's just a natural reaction from me. And so I'm working toward that. And working toward that means selling a headphone that I think is the best I've heard, which is the Sultan. And if I don't have the best I've ever heard in-house, well, that's okay. I can live with that. I mean, I'm not going to, like I said, this was a custom pair. This is a custom pair of K10Ls that were handmade for me, and John, you know, built these for me. I'm like, yeah, these are staying because they actually they do have a little bit of meaning to them. You know, they came from the designer. So, but the Susvara, that's a custom pick. You know, it's got all the stuff in it. You've seen that video. It's like comes with the giant Pelican case, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, let it go, let it go. The E2 is surprisingly good, says Hi-Fi Boog. He was underpowering his LCD2s, getting much more bass, wobbles, and punch. Yeah. That's, you know, good, better amp. Going to work for you. Pretty small amp. Nephilim 81, always great to see you here. Yes. Adnan, cheers. Cheers, Adnan. Hi-Fi Boog admits that his wife gets the claim of his new Geshelli. Nephilim says, not to beat a dead horse, once you get the D8000, would you please? Enough with the D8000. I know you want me to get the D. It's heard. I've heard it. I've heard your plea. Once you get the D8000, it's best to run them on solid state, not tubes. Well, I have both, so I can play around and listen till my heart's content. D8000 is easy, clip easily on the tubes, especially as WA22. Yeah, I mean, I'd run it on the Woo just to see what it does. No harm in that. But yeah, you know, it's a headphone that I want. You know, there's no question. It'll be here in the next year sometime. Who knows? We just have to find a deal. Somebody who's getting out of one. There's a D8000 Pro right now on Head5 for a good price, but I'm not interested in the Pro. I want the raw one. All right. What else we got? Nephilim, what power tubes are you using? Now we're getting into tube rolling. This is a rat hole. Michael, he always wondered how and who does that funny cartoony reaction voice and yells at you in the regular episodes. Well, it's usually me. Yell at myself. No. All the music, everything you hear that's not my voice on the show, on the regular show, comes from a company called Epidemic Sound, and their link is in the description down below. And the reason I use them is I've looked to get music. Sorry, I'm going to cough in a second. People complain often. Let's just tell the story. Story time by your director. To put music on the show, you can't run commercial music because that'll get you banned. That'll get you copyright claimed. And what happens is, pardon me, I'm sorry, I don't have a cough button. Part of what happens is the bands who own the copyright, or the publishing agent who own the copyright, run sniffers on YouTube, and anytime they hear their music, they make a claim, and that video for that creator gets demonetized. And what happens is normally the money goes straight to whoever owns the copyright on the music. Anything that gets made from that episode. Well, there are some bands, like, I'm not going to say names, Eagles, who are very litigious. And they will actually come after you for damages, or they'll come after you for a monetary, you know, fee. So you don't want to ever get caught playing Eagles music on your videos, because the chances are it's going to cost you money. It's not just going to be demonetized, it will cost you money. So, okay, you know, so we're not going to do that. So what you need to do if you're a creator is find a source of royalty-free music, which is you pay a fee up front, and then you either own the music outright for life, and I have one library of that that's really awful. I forgot who did it, but it was like something called it's something Backtracks. It was a Backtracks library. horrible canned music, like the worst canned music you've ever heard. And I used that for a little bit on the show. And then the other, like at least when I was early creating, before like I was seriously doing a YouTube show. And then the other thing I would do is I'd make my own music. I would open up like loops, like the looping software, like GarageBand. You can use that, or you can use, there was an old program called Acid that would do it. And I have all of these loops of drums and drum sounds and stuff, and I would either, between a keyboard and audio loops, I would build my own mixes of stuff. And it would usually be very drum driven because that's exciting. And it's a good thing to cut to. I love drums. So I'd make my own rhythms and stuff, and then I would just cut to that. But when I started doing the show, I wanted the show to be more polished, and I wanted to do a show that was more, that had more jazz in it, because nobody uses jazz. It's a very different feel. And I also wanted to find quirky tracks. And I've got a big bin of music that's just marked quirky, which is just stuff that's weird. Just weird, strange stuff. And I love weird, strange stuff that sounds off the wall, that's a little bit funny, that's a little bit lumpy in its presentation, that's got a little bend to it, that's unusual or a little mystifying. What I didn't want was the modern hip-hop that is in every single YouTube vlogger's video. And that's that sound that's like, it's a hip-hop beat, dun dun dun, and then they kind of static over it, and they play with the pitch on it a little bit, and like it's the same shit. It's the same stuff in every video you hear, you see a vlogger do, and they're all doing it because the guys who got 1 million subscribers all did it, and that's why they do it. And I'm like, I don't want to be that. I want to go down a different road entirely. I want this show to sound different. Like if you watch any of the other headphone shows, if they use music at all, which many of them don't because it's expensive, you know, I'm paying a fee every month for this music library, Epidemic Sound. I want it to be different. I want it to sound different. I want the show to feel different than everything else out there. The second I start hearing these tracks on somebody else's video is the second I'll throw the track out. I don't want to use something other people are using, because I'm looking for the show to have a specific voice. I'm looking for it to have a certain feel, and that feel has got to be unique. It's got to be unique, because I don't want to do a video that everybody else is doing. And when people criticize me for saying, why aren't you just like these other shows? And, you know, other shows are showing graphs and the other shows. I'm not the other shows, and I don't want to be the other shows. I want the other shows to do what they do. The only thing that I get a little bit like what feathers get ruffled. Is that an old phrase? How far are we going to go back with that phrase? It's like 1930s phrase. 1920s phrase. So funny. But my feathers get ruffled a little bit when I did something that was clearly different and clearly unique, and another show just lifts the bit. And I'm not well enough known so that, like, I just go, okay, but I hope enough people are out there that realize this show was doing that a long time ago, and you just lifted that bit for your own show because you liked what I did. And that's fine, but and I guess imitation is a form of flattery, but that's the only thing that kind of like makes me go, come on, come up with your own stuff, because I worked so hard on developing segments that were different and unusual and, you know, quirky and offbeat and presenting stuff in a unique way. And a big part of this show is that music library that I use, and it's Epidemic Sound, but I found these tracks that are like, they have this mainstream stuff, and every time I log on to Epidemic Sound, I get assaulted with, this is our newest stuff, and use this. This is all brand new stuff. Now, the Uber creators get the first dibs on all of their new material. I'm sure of it. They get tracks that nobody else has heard before. Then there's like the common bin, which has got like, it's all the stuff that you hear on every single other vlogger. And then I find stuff that's off in the corners that's sitting in a dusty box. Like, it'll be late at night, and I'll just start going through, find me the quirkiest movie themed whatever, and I'll just start clicking through, and I'll be like, no, that sounds, like that. I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm taking it, and it winds up in a folder that I then start when I start tracking. I remember, oh, I've got that weird track that would be good for this section, and that's how I score it, and it all comes from Epidemic Sound, and then I watch it through, and I'm like, where can I punch it up and where can I add? And sometimes as I'm shooting it, I'll think, oh, this is a funny place for me to pause or whatever and give a little beat for something. And then I'll go through the library and find something funny that I've got an audio clip of. But I rarely drop in movie stuff. That'll get flagged too by YouTube too, and you'll get demonetized if you drop in a movie clip. I already had that happen once when I tried it with the Blues Brothers. So that I know that and then the trick there is to just shorten the clip, because if it's a certain length, the sniffers can't catch it. But I'm like, I don't even want to bother with it. I'm just going to go my own way and make my own show. So that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes on how I produce the show based on one little comment. This whole place is going to shit. Okay, let's go down. Let's get back to the chat. Adnan, AFDS is tech really warrants solid state, not tubes. That's the damping system that they use in the D8000. And I'm sorry, I'm banging all over the place. It's just work. Yes, interesting. Those are tubes, by the way. They are. HD800 is heavenly, buddy, and they have the bass. I still love the HD800. Nephilim, cheers to you, buddy. The HD800 is phenomenal, and I like the HD820 as well. I'm going to catch up on the chat now. We're just going to go through some of this stuff. Ryan Dietz, headphones are greater than source gear. I think, and Ryan, I think that headphones rate better. You guys tune out, come in. You guys come into the show for a good new headphone way more than you ever will for an amp. And I know that because I've got data. When I did things on amps here, like the Phonitor X, it was a blip. Like nobody cared. Like, great, you got a new amp. Good, moving on. So yeah, that's the reality. So that's why I don't, I'd rather get a new headphone that's everybody's talking about in here to show off and talk about, and then like another amp. I still talk about amps when I do find something and I bring it in, but it's nothing that I'm gonna, it's not sexy. I can't build a whole show around an amp. It doesn't work. I've tried a couple times. It's just like, you guys don't care. I can't help it. The new Zeos IEM is getting rave reviews for $600 IEM. I also I want to try the new Meze. It's not new now. It's been out for about 6 months. There's a Meze IEM in that $600 to $800 range that I really want to try. And then there's a new Bayer Dynamic, or do you say Bayer Dynamic? I never know which, but I usually say Bayer Dynamic, but it's Bayer Dynamic. Or it's the other way around. Anyway, Bayer Dynamic has a new IEM that is getting a lot of praise and early attention. But again, anything at $600, $700, you got to compete with that $200 timeless on a good amp. Somebody wrote on the comment the other day, wrote a comment that, well, those are, none of the other reviewers say that they're inefficient. They'll drive them just fine. I'm like, yeah, but they don't make their best sound until you put some serious power into them. That's the whole point. Like, I can get them to make noise off of a phone or a DAP, but to really drive them and start getting that bass to activate and give you that special texture down low and all that, yeah, you want a power source. You want a good power source, like the the WA11, the Topaz that I have here. That's just dynamite with the timeless. Like, it's a phenomenal pairing. It really brings those things alive. But yes, HD100, I love the HD820. There you go. Hi-Fi Boog says they are, and they're already halfway sold. I'm not following that reference. Don't tell his wife he bought one. That's $600. You got busted, buddy. Hi-Fi Boog busted for a $600 IEM as the guy who's selling an $1,800 IEM. That's worth $3,600 new. He didn't have any nice IEMs and figured if he didn't like it, he'd sell it. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good plan. I like that. Anyone seen the new Yamaha YH5000 SE? Yes, I've seen them, but I haven't heard them. Nephilim tried and we'll see what happens. If you're going to get a D8000, get the limited edition coming out. No, Adam, I'm not going to buy the new D8000. I'm going to buy a used D8000 because I won't pay brand new retail. I don't need a limited edition. It's going to be in a fancy box or it'll have a special pattern on the outside. I don't really care. I just want to hear what they sound like. And for the purposes of this show, as long as they film well, I'm fine with it. But I'll always, and I push you guys, if you know this show at all, I push you guys, buy used, buy used, buy used. Don't pay that retail craziness. But if you do, go to audio46.com. and knock an extra 5% off most of the things they use by using our special Director's Garage coupon code, which is conveniently enough, Nick, called Director's Garage, all one word. You put that in at checkout, and they will knock an extra 5% off most of the items they carry. And when you're talking about a $3,200 or a $4,000 or a $5,000 headphone, 5% is a lot of money. So it's our way of paying back to you, and then you get back to the show. At the same time, you get to save money. We get a little bonus for you guys purchasing, and that's how we help. It's one of the few revenue streams the show has. Closing on 5,000 though. We're closing on 4,500. We're just a stone. We're getting close to that 5,000 number, man. That's a number I never thought I'd see, and I think we're actually going to get there sometime in the next 2 years. We'll see. Oh, this show is lame on some level, but you gotta love it. So yeah, I'm not gonna get a limited edition. I tell you guys, buy used. Michael, I tried the Stax Nephilim. Michael, he tried the Stax SRX9000. Listen to them for over an hour. You are gonna freak out when you hear them. They were the star of the show for him. No, it's good. I'm always open. There is a quality to Stax that I've tried 2 Stax headphones in here. The 009, 009S, and they both have the same issue. I want to see. There were some choices made on that SRX9000 that I know were functional. This is Mr. Director. Yes, alive and sleeping at home. Howley. You guys have met Holly before on the show. Holly's been running away lately. Like, he's been going out, and he's like, normally he comes in at about, like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and there were 2 nights this week that he stayed out overnight. So either he's got a Mrs. Howley, or he's making another little girl scream in the neighborhood, or he's been, I don't know, he's camping out somewhere. But it bothers me when the cat doesn't come home at night, because he's my boy. He's definitely indoor-outdoor, and he will not stay indoors. I've had plenty of people tell me, just make him stay indoors then. I'm like, well, yeah. And then you will endure the wrath of Howley, who can be dangerous. My God, the price, though. I love me some E-Stats. So, yes, the price is on the E-Stats, and that's what it would come down to for the SRX 9000, is finding a pair that's used on the used market, or finding somebody who can sell me one at a steep discount. But I don't have a contact that sells Stax that could give me that discount. Whereas some of the other dealers, I can at least get a little break on the price from, and then when I go to sell it, I just can sell it for that price, and usually that the market will hold that, or a couple $100 under. I don't know if that makes sense. Cheers, everybody. 343. And I may have to review something. Oh, this day is just going to heck. Love me some E-Stats, though. Yes, we did that. Been getting... Oh, here we go. Hi, Faboog. Been getting a lot of overtime. Actually surprised that he's home right now, but he couldn't help himself. Good thing he doesn't gamble. Because the very next one is the Tinder hot dating site. Oh my God, we're just going to kill this user. You don't know this show. Adam Cardos, those are the pros, though. He wants the OG, and rightly so, because of the bass. Yes, that's my thing on the D8000. I want the D8000, and I don't want the pros. So I want the one that's lively and fun. I don't need a pair of headphones to mix on. I've got 1,000 headphones here I can mix on. I'm looking for something that gives me an enjoyable presentation of the music in a relaxed setting. Call me crazy. We should all be relaxed, not like sitting there going, oh, I think that trumpet needs to be raised by 2 dB. Ryan Dietz is tempted to get a set, but he's been spending a lot lately, so he knows he shouldn't. Yeah, I know. We're all spending a lot. Nephilim says he missed the warmer sound. Yes. Hi-Fi Boog says, yeah, I'm almost $1,300 on audio gear this past week. Oh, Hi-Fi. You gotta if you're getting on this level, man, you're gonna get on this, you gotta have weeks when you're like, wow, I just dropped $12,000. Whew. you need weeks like mine where you have to actually take a knee after you think about it. Like, gotta catch my breath. Yeah, we've done some spending on this show. Ryan Dietz says it's the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition for him. I'm a huge fan of that. You guys know that. That is my one of my go-to headphones. My very favorite headphones I've heard in the last year. Fantastic headphone, the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. Aria Stealth, yes. Worth the money, a tad bright at times, though. I don't know. I think that's one that walks that line perfectly. Like, I never found those getting bright. I felt like they walked to the edge a little bit, but never bothered me. Like, never heard something that went, whoa, that was sharp. As opposed to some manufacturers. Good headphone though. Yeah, we got a lot of good headphones out there right now, and I always say it's a really good time to be in this headphone hobby because the choices are so great. We're in such a great time. I mean, the stuff is just the OG stuff, the new stuff. Like, it's all so good. It's all so good. We've got great choices to make. JTB turned up just in time to get a date for tonight. JTB, I hope you got that number before I clicked it out. And I'm going to be going off the air shortly, guys. I'm sorry, I got to go wash the car. My car's filthy, and I want to get the dirt off of it. Sorry. And if I don't go, it gets dark too early here now. So I need about an hour to wash the car, and that's that. So cheers to you, Michael. Cheers to you, Nephilim. HD800, yeah, anytime, yeah. Fantastic, great source of instrumental music. Yeah, I like the HD800 for a variety of things. Here's the trick to me anyway. What I think that most people who don't appreciate the HD800 or say the HD800 is flawed and this and that, I think they don't understand the soundstage. And what I hear the Sennheisers doing, the HD820 does it, the HD800S does it, and the HD800 does it. If you buy a headphone, I'm going to use an example. Let's say the Elite. Okay, got a decent wide soundstage. Everything comes to you from a space in that soundstage. Like, stuff sounds like it's very specifically placed, and it's like coming to you. The HD series takes that soundstage and it throws it into a Cuisinart, chops it all up and spews it out all over the place, and then sends it back to you. So you get stuff coming at you from really interesting angles and stuff that you wouldn't expect in places you wouldn't expect. And I think some people put that headphone on, and it's kind of like a crossfeed effect almost, like an early crossfeed, but it's in hardware. I think that people hear that and they go, oh, it's disorganized, or oh, it doesn't. And I'm like, no, that's the brilliance of this headphone, is that it throws stuff at you in different ways, and you have this super wide expanse, and something that you might expect to be coming at you from here might be coming at you from way out on this side, you know, pardon me. Tearing the place up, but will be coming at you from way out here, and it's like, whoa, where's that and if you delight in that, and if you can learn to enjoy that surprise and let it be delicious and let it be the flavor that it is, you're going to get a lot out of that headphone. You're going to super enjoy it. If you're offended by it though, and you want stuff to be in a more traditional way, yeah, that headphone's not for you. It's never going to be for you, because it's not designed that way. It's designed to be a spectacle, and I love a spectacle headphone. I think it's phenomenal. Okay, we're going to do a few more, and then I'm going to get off the air because I got to go screen a piece. I've got people yelling at me, and I don't want to make you sit here. It's a 5-minute piece that I've got, and I'm not going to put you on hold for 5 minutes. I'm just going to end the show, and then we'll go deal with work. So yes, that's my take on the HD series, the entire HD series, the HD 800 series. I don't know what happened there. I got stuff pinging at me. It's not easy living in this head, guys. Are you guys hearing those bings too, or is it just internal? Yeah, his wife actually wants HD 800s. Sure, because they're a show, man. They're a show, and they're a good show. Ryan Dietz says, is that what you're getting? Oh, is that what you're getting? She finds out about your IEMs. Yes. She had 650s in college. Hey, not a slouch of a headphone. That to me was the start of hi-fi headphone technology, was the HD 650. That was the headphone that made everybody go, maybe I will pay a little bit more for something that sounds extra special. And then the rest of us went, what else can you do? and we all started spending $6,000 on headphones because we're not smart. Oh boy, more of this stuff. It's pretty cool that she's getting into Gear 2. Yeah, that's great. And the HD 650s, totally agree, Ryan Dietz. It's great. Michael, he really feels the SRX 9000 is better than the Carbon. Okay. Keep that blue Hawaii to push and push for the stacks when you can, and that may be. And you know, the ideal world would be to have the Carbon and the stacks in here. I don't know that I can swing both. And I don't even know that I'm going to find an SRX 9000 anytime in the near future. I think I've only seen one come up on the used, and they wanted a fortune for it. They wanted like over $5,000 for it, and I'm like, not yet. No, it's got to get. It's got to get to the 4,000. I mean, I'm not going to touch that thing for much more than $4,000. It's just too much. It's too much to pay for a headphone. I don't think anybody should spend that much. Yes, much respect for that headphone. So everybody's loving on the HD 800. Let's cheers to the HD 800. What a great headphone that was. And that was the one that took us to $1,600 level. We went from about a $600 headphone all the way up to a $1,600 headphone in one jump, and then Audeze and Hifiman had their way with us, and Abyss came along later. Headphone chronology by your resident idiot. Cool thing about the HD800 is that besides it's unique for Simpson with its soundstage, it's probably the best gaming. I don't game much, so I don't get a chance to do that. But yeah, I guess that's always an option. I have to leave gaming to other folks. I just don't have enough time for it. There's a $20,000 amp at Can Jam SoCal that apparently sounded amazing with the Susvara, but no way in hell. I think you're talking about the Lima. The Lima, it looks, or the Lima, I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, that's a $30,000 stack, and it's like three. There's a $10,000 amp, a $10,000 timing unit, and then a $10,000 DAC. They're $30,000 for the stack, and I'm sure it sounds great. But it probably is going to make anything sound great. You know, how great will it make it? You know, is it just the Susvara, or is it going to make other things sound great too? I'm telling you, the Utopia, or sorry, the Abyss 1266TC, just unbelievable. So is the LCD-4. So the amp, $10 amps. Yeah, it's just, but it's too much. It's too much. They have things called car washes, Michael. I know. I care for my own car. It's a thing with me. I'm like, I really enjoy the process of washing cars. I'm gonna confess. I do. I like the process. It's like a zen. It's my zen place. Like to go out there and just work the car, and I don't know. I like, and I put all kinds of stuff. I've done my own ceramic coating on the car. I've done like the leather treatment and all that stuff. It's just a place to like, for me to just like get away from my thoughts. After I watch this 5-minute piece for ET, which they're reminding me about every 10 minutes right now, and they're upset that I'm on the air. They don't know I'm on the air, but yeah, I'm gonna go watch that piece. Had his HD800 for 11 years. Yeah, I had mine for a good long while. I sold it to get the HE1000 V1, and then because I wrote a favorable review on HeadFi, I was contacted by Hifiman, and they gave me an even trade, the V1 for the V2. And they said, just give us another review on it. So I did. I published another review on it, which was obviously favorable. I love that headphone. And kept that for a long time. That was my main go-to around here until I started the show, and I realized that I'm going to have to let go of some things if I want to get into some new things to show off on the show. And so that was when I started building sort of the rig that became the early Director's Garage, and then it all went to shit from there because I started dumping money hand over fist into this sinkhole of a channel. Welcome to the Director's Garage, where we lose money by the minute. It's a hobby. Okay, JTB, remember when we thought $1,600 for the HD800 was extremely expensive? Yeah, and I felt like I was getting a steal because I got mine for $1,200. I was like, $1,200, got an HD800, and it was like, it was practically brand new in the box. It was just, and I'm like, oh man, I just scored. I'm like, yeah, you got scored, you got screwed, but you don't know it at the time. There was the whole push for that. They were all pushing higher, and then the LCD3 came out, and they were $3,000. LCD4 is $4,000. The LCD5 was only $4,500. The Director's Garage money pit. That is this room. That is this set right here. Everything you're seeing. It's a consequence of COVID and boredom. COVID and boredom do bad things for your wallet. So does Tinder Hot XXX dating site, by the way. Hey, go away. Where's my... I want to ban them. You're banned. Hide this user from the channel. Banned, Tinder Hot. Why do you think that our viewers would be so interested in your service exactly? What have you guys been clicking on? What's in your cookies, boys? All right, I'm going to start wrapping this one up. It was fun today. Not a lot of viewers today. It's okay. We didn't get a lot of people in here. That's okay. Not all of them have to, and I didn't give a lot of run-up on this live stream. I know I normally try and give you guys about 6 hours notice when I'm going to live stream. I just wasn't sure, and then I had to see how the afternoon was playing out, and I kept getting busier and busier at work, and I still have some stuff to do. So I wound up, yeah, the ban button is not working. I can't ban any of you. You're all stuck here. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave the Director's Garage. Got that one? Hotel California. All right, guys, I'm going to start the outro music because I can. Oh, look at that. That means we're wrapping up the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and we'll be back next week. Or sooner if I get the, if something happens. And I've got the next show shot, so you'll have a new episode early next week, which is great. And yeah, we'll do it all again. So thanks for showing up today. I hope you enjoyed this casual little hangout. We talked about some headphones. We talked about some amps and what I'm selling. Buy some stuff, folks. Go down to that Director's Garage sale if you're interested and pick up a deal on something. Buying used is always going to be better for you. I promise you. It'll save your wallet and your marriage. All right, guys, get out of here. I'll see you guys before you know it. So crazy.